This is the start of the sewer system for Phnom Penh. So this is a canal that flows right through the middle of Phnom Penh. Most of it has been covered over, and this is the last remaining part that hasn't been covered over, and it's just pure human waste. And we're going to look at the people that actually live above this open sewer pit in Phnom Penh. So not very far from here, less than 200 metres, you've got an apartment selling for $300,000, $500,000. So all around us, like these apartments over here are getting built that will be selling for up to $300,000 for penthouses on the top. And then we come to this, the open sewer for Phnom Penh, Cambodia, which eventually just ends up in the Mekong River with no treatment done to it. And we'll actually go and look at the people that actually live over this open sewer pit. So this is the start of it. And right underneath there's just, especially that house over there, is just human waste. That's flowing right from every place and every building in Phnom Penh, and it ends up in this creek here. And funny enough, you've got the shack here parked right outside. They've got a new Range Rover, but they're working in a place over there. But these people live their whole lives in these places. And then you've got all the polished iron and the rubbish that gets dumped into the open sewer pit, or the open sewer drain, and this will eventually end up in the Mekong River and then end out in the, you know, the world's oceans. Now, when we talk about street food that you buy really cheap on the streets, this is where it's made. So she's preparing it here, and the house is over the open sewer pit, and the lady over here is cooking it. So absolutely no hygiene, and the water they'll be using would be probably out of the open sewer drain. There's no sanitation, no electricity, and that's poverty. And so this is all end up in street food. So when you buy that really cheap food, this is where it's made. And some batter down there. And to think straight underneath where she's standing is an open sewer drain with human waste. And they're cooking it all here, ready for sale on the street. So when you buy cheap street food, this is where it's made and where it come from. So here she is cooking it here, ready for sale at the street food markets. Absolutely Absolutely no hygiene. Absolutely no hygiene involved. Right, I've just been permissioned to film inside this there, and you can see the gap under there. So the house is actually built, or the shack is actually built over, right over the top of the sewer river that's draining Phnom Penh of human waste. And they live in here. So they've got a bed and they're eating. So the stench is absolutely overpowering just standing outside the door, and their bed is actually right over the sewer system, or the sewer river. That's their bed there, and you can just see it under through the concrete there, flowing under there, and they got a wooden floor, so absolutely terrible smell. So here we have some children, and they live in this little tiny shack, and he makes a few dollars per week just by selling drinks which are inside these containers, and they live in absolutely appalling conditions. So the whole family lives under here, and you can see the cracks in the wooden floor right underneath. That's the sewer system flowing underneath their house, and the stench is absolutely terrible just by standing here. So I can imagine what it's like sleeping in there, living here. Oh, there's a lady there. Hello. That's either the wife and the husband and the children. So here's a man come to buy some drinks. So this is how they just survive on, maybe $1 or $2 a week. Absolutely appalling conditions. Yeah, this just goes on forever. And this is, that people have got nothing and just live in a meager existence around here. All that white stuff is polystyrene boxes and pieces of polystyrene that will, eventually find its way into the Mekong River, and then down the Mekong River out into the world's oceans. And there's just tons and tons and tons of plastic bags and polystyrene, and these people live all their lives like this. But in around about 2030, 2035, New Zealand and Australia and Britain will have living conditions like this. They're called fringe dwellers, where they can't afford rent, have got no money, no work, and they just have to try and build a shack and live an existence. So most countries in the world have got the fringe dwellers that live on the outskirts of each city. And the way Australia, New Zealand and Britain and the other European countries are going at the moment with, you know, high rentals and electricity and gas and petrol, you know, and the food prices keep on rising, interest rates keep on rising. People will have no alternative to than become, you know, fringe dwellers living on the fringes of each city. And places like this, yeah, you may laugh now, but in 10 years time you'll start to see it. The stench from this wood is absolutely disgusting. Just standing here and all that polystyrene. And to think that people actually live their whole life and raise families over there, and these, they call them the fringe dwellers, or people that have nothing. So here's some more street food that is just laying in the midday sun, ready to go into the city and sell. And they're actually shellfish that are sitting in the full day sun. And you got those things that you saw that lady baking just before. That's the type of stuff. Maybe even her cart. And right beside me you've got the open sewer pit. And there's no running water or very little electricity here. So there's no clean, fresh water. And these things here, the shellfish, are sitting in the full day sun. And, you know, tourists come and buy them. And most of them become violently ill with food poisoning, thinking, oh, we'll just try some local Khmer food. Well, this is where it's prepared and made. And, you know, it's not fit. What you're seeing now is not fit for human consumption. But tourists still buy it. But the local immune system, their immune system, is used to all this type of food. But the Western, you know, stomach immune system can't take this, and you'll be violently ill. And there's some children that live in the slums, all called the fringe dwellers. So they'll never ever go to school or have any education. Now you'll see some wooden furniture here that these people are making. Now there's a good side and a very bad side. And can you see the bad side? Have a really good look and see if you can see the bad side. I'll move a bit closer, maybe you can't see it. There's a phrase, you can't see the forest because of the trees. Maybe that'll give you some hint. These have been illegally cut down from the rainforest. Some of these trees over 1,000 years old. And this is just one slab they're using on this table here. It may look nice once it's all stained up. But you're looking at illegal rainforest trees that some could be even 2,000 years old, just cut down illegally to make furniture. Yeah, this may look nice. But taken illegally from the rainforest, cut down, and that bit on top is a slab that come from a tree, maybe, you know, anything between 1,000 and 2,000 years old. So don't buy any wood products as in souvenirs from Cambodia or any country, because it's only just rainforest trees being cut down. Yes, this was all carved by hand. Now that's the good point. Absolutely beautiful done. Beautifully done. That's the good point. But the bad point is, not long ago, it was a rainforest tree between 1,000 and 2,000 years old, just cut down to make this. And the rainforests are disappearing at an alarming rate, not only in Cambodia but the world. Just so people can buy this for $3,000 or $4,000 and have it hanging in the house. You know, I'd rather see the living tree in the rainforest than this piece just hanging in someone's house. More polystyrene waste. Everything gets dumped in the sewer system in the sewer river. That just flows straight out into the Mekong River and down the Mekong River into the Vietnam Delta and out to sea. And the stench is absolutely terrible. And people, the Fringe dwellers, are living in these places here. But you look along the river there, that's all polystyrene coming down. And then probably the next, you know, week or so, it'll be in the Mekong River. And then a month or so to be in the world's oceans. Just plastic and polystyrene just dumped. Here they're actually building new homes over the sewage waste system river that flows out into the Mekong River. So they're actually building new ones, and I'm just standing here and the stench is absolutely overpowering. So you can imagine what it would be like that once you move into there. Here's a family that lives at number 23. Sewer System Street. And they're out having lunch. But they make their money by selling these. which will, if you come to Phnom Penh, Cambodia or Cambodia, you'll see these on the streets everywhere. And here they are, just sitting in the full day sun. You know. And they just sit in the full day sun. And if you're a Westerner and you bought some of these, you'll be violently ill. The Khmer or Asian immune system is used to it, but not the Western immune system. They just sit in the all day sun, and the ones are not sold today will be just sold again tomorrow, and they'll just keep on selling them till they've all gone. So some could have been cooked today, and some of them could have been cooked, you know, 3 or 4 days ago. And everyone knows about shellfish and seafood, how contaminated it gets after a few hours. But sitting in the full day sun, not nice. Now this is a bridge across to the other part of the Fringe dwellers, but you can see the huge build-up of polystyrene and plastic bags. You know, absolutely ton of it. Mostly polystyrene, plastic bags, plastic bottles, and here they are building or erecting new places over this, and the stench here is absolutely terrible. You know, everyone has to be concerned about all this ending up in the Mekong River and then out in the world oceans, and this is just like probably, you know, 1/10 of 1% of the rubbish like this worldwide that ends up in the world's oceans. We're only looking at a small part of it, and it's all the polystyrene and plastic bags are all mounted up there. And the Fringe dwellers, this is what they call home. If you could stand here now and smell it, absolutely shocking. The stench is absolutely overwhelming. And people and children live their whole lives like this. So this is someone's home here. And the entrance is just there. I'll go and have a look at the entrance. But this is the back of the house. And they've just got a tin roof. The heat would be absolutely terrible inside. So this is the front door, or the front entrance of the house we just saw from the back. And the whole street is, you know, like this. So that window at the back, you can see in the back there, that's the bedroom. And we'll go around and have a look at from the outside by the river. So this is the window here, the bedroom window. And the stench is absolutely terrible. And you can see in the distance the modern Phnom Penh with the high-rise apartments. When the next rains come, this will just be washed further down the stream into the Mekong River. And they're actually building new places over the sewer system or the river, which is just human waste straight from the city. This is some of the chickens that are just sitting out in the full day sun. And they smell absolutely terrible. See this one here, these are all green. And when you buy that cheap street food, it's got chicken and rice for $1.50 or $2. This is the chickens they use. And he's just on a motorbike, just touring around. The ones over here are actually beyond human consumption. So this is where all that cheap street food you see for sale for $1, $1.25, $1.50. This is where it all comes from. It's all prepared in unhygienic conditions with polluted water, and they just go into the city of Phnom Penh and sell it, and the tourists come and think it's a great buy for $1, $1.25, $1.50. Well, now you can see where it's come from and where it's made and prepared. This area here in the slums is where a lot of the street food is prepared and taken into Phnom Penh to be sold. So this is the conditions it's prepared and sold. This is where the shellfish and the bread rolls and all the pork and the beef and the chicken is prepared for sale in Phnom Penh. So when you're buying street food, this is the type of area that it's made in. Hello. Right, this lady has given me permission to film inside, and she pays $10 US a month for rental, and I'll go inside and have a look. So she's got children and a fan, and she pays $10 a month. So that's her cooking stove, and this is her only possessions. Yeah, she just told me she doesn't, other people live upstairs. This is just her space. $10 US a month for this place here. So it works out at $2.50 a week. So for $10 a month, this is just this little room here, which is the bed, and they all sleep in the same bed. And these are her meagre possessions. Now the fringe dwellers, that's all she can afford. She sells the shellfish in the daytime and night time. You can see the pollution and the sewer right underneath these houses. Absolutely stinks. And they sleep in amongst this. Terrible conditions. These are used for cockfighting. So try and make extra money, they try and breed the ultimate cock for cockfighting. So this lady is preparing chicken for sale for street food in Phnom Penh later on tonight. And if I move around, this is her house she lives in, and you can see what's underneath the house. Absolutely putrid smell here. And this is the chicken that you'll get. And your $1.50 rolls or chicken and rice you buy cheap. Absolutely shocking. And then we get across there and you see the sewer coming out of that drain there. And then we start to get to modern buildings in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. But this is where the fringe dwellers and the poverty of Phnom Penh still live. And most of the food, street food that's sold cheap on the streets of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, is all prepared and done here and then taken into town and sold in Phnom Penh city. So think twice before you buy any cheap street food that hasn't got refrigeration. And this is their carts and tables and chairs that they'll set up in the streets of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and have all that food that you've been seen prepared will be sold, and you can come along and thinking, wow, look at that bread roll with the chicken and the pork and the seafood for $1.50. So take my advice. If you're a Westerner or come into Cambodia for the first time, only eat at places with refrigeration. You're only paying another 50 cents or $1 more. But eating at central markets, Russian markets, the night markets in Phnom Penh, this is where all the food is prepared and then taken into this Phnom Penh and sold. So it's up to you and your health what you want to do. The stall, the meals are 7,000 real. There's 4,000 reals per US dollar. 8,000 real is $2. So 7,000 is, you know, about $1.75. And they'll have this set up in town and there'll be a hot wok there cooking all the chicken, the vegetables and the seafood, and they'll have their tables and chairs all set out, and you'll come across and saying, oh gee, that's cheap. Well, now you've seen where it's prepared, so think twice before you buy anything without refrigeration. So this is Mystery Cambodia signing off from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I'll leave all more comments down below and a WhatsApp number, and if you want to contact me you can leave a comment down below or contact me via WhatsApp. So we're back to the real world now, and only 300 meters behind me is just where we've come from. So this is Mystery Cambodia signing off from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Thank you.